So this is my Cards for the Future spells, part 2. So these are some spell cards that, some of these I'm currently using because I have some decks that can utilize them, and some of these I have not yet used in a major capacity, but I've tried them to, obviously increase the strength of my decks. A Winged Beat of Giant Dragon, useful in any dragon-based deck. Typically, it's I used it in Dragon Rulers, in the past. I've used it in Heretics because you can special summon Tefnuit. Chaos Dragons because you can bring Light Pulsar back from the graveyard, or special summon it by banishing a Light and Dark, and then bounce it to your hand, and then banish Light and Dark again, summon it again. So it's pretty useful in a deck where special summoning level 5 and higher dragons are common in the deck. Then this card is obviously really useful. You can use it in a Blue Eyes deck. There's the new Red Eyes archetype, so you can use this in that. You could potentially use this in the Buster Blade archetype. They do have dragons in there. A nice little trick I like to use with a Winged Beat of Giant Dragon is use Electric Virus. Let me type it up for you in case you don't know what it looks like. Electric Virus. There it is. Electric Virus. Take my opponent's Dragon type monster and then use Winged Beat of Giant Dragon to get rid of it. Good target would be Stardust, because they can use Stardust to stop a Winged Beat of Giant Dragon. So what you do is you use Electric Virus, take their Stardust, then use their Stardust for the effect of a Winged Beat of Giant Dragon. Now you got rid of Stardust and you got rid of your opponent's spells and traps. I mean, it will get rid of yours too, because this is essentially a heavy storm, right? This is a good card, very useful for getting rid of back row, especially against a deck that's very back row heavy. Release Restraint Wave. I'm currently playing it because Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro does have the griddles. And here's Griddle Cobra, for example. And because they're coming really close, really soon in our near future, obviously this card will definitely have, will see more play. Definitely from me. I'm already playing with it, and it's been working really good. So I see the potential of other players playing. I also do use this sometimes in Noble Knights because they have equipped cards. And this is also good in Violons because the Violon monsters themselves can become equipped cards. This can also be used in Inzectors, but not many people play Inzectors anymore. So this is, be a good card for that. Could be a good card as well in a Relinquish deck where you steal your opponent's monster, equip it as a, attach it as an equipped card, and then do this. So as you can see, it has potential to be used, especially as a heavy storm substitute or harpy substitute. It only gets rid of set spells and traps, but most of the problematic cards are set spells and traps, right? So we'll be seeing that get played more. I know I will be. Dark Magic's Attack, pretty good card. It destroys all spell and trap cards your opponent controls, so it's like Harpy's Feather Duster, but you need the Dark Magician in order to activate this effect. Hopefully we'll get Dark Magician support that will let us special summon Dark Magician relatively easy, other than Dark Magic Curtain, which costs half my life points just to summon them. You know what I mean? And the fact that he can still be bombless, that sucks, right? Having a monster that can count as Dark Magician, so you can automatically play this. One way is Elemental Hero Prisma. By sending a Dark Magician from your deck to graveyard, Prisma's name becomes Dark Magician, so then you would be able to activate Dark Magic Attack. So it's a good card, once you can activate it. Pendulum Summon is a thing, so the possibility of being able to Pendulum Summon the Dark Magician himself, and then use this. Another way you could do it is summon Ebon Illusion Magician with 2 level 7s because it's a rank 7 exceed. summon, detach, summon Dark Magician from the deck onto the field, and then play Dark Magic attack. That way you can get rid of your opponent's back row. XYZ Burst. It's a pretty good card because it destroys all set cards your opponent controls, not just their set spells and traps. So this is useful against, any defense decks, any decks that's hiding behind, face down monsters. This is useful against, but mainly you're trying to get rid of their back row. You need to control a rank 6 or higher XYZ monster. Not too hard since, the Cyber Dragon Infinity is a rank 6, M7 is a rank 6, Gaia Charger is a rank 7, but you can use a 5 or a 6 in order to summon Gaia Charger. So that's pretty useful. There's a lot of rank up cards, and there's going to be more rank up cards. You could potentially play this in Raid Raptors, because they do a lot of rank up in there. So you'll be able to rank up and get to a rank 6 pretty easily, and be able to make this card active, so that way you can, keep your opponent's field pretty small and give you the advantage. So it has potential in the near future. Final Destiny. I'm personally playing this in my Infernal, my Volcanic Infernal Tempest OTK deck, because I, do use the Burning Abyss engine in there, so discarding my hand is not an issue, especially if I go second. I will have 6 cards. I play Final Destiny, discard the other 5 cards in my hand to activate this effect, and wipe wipe the board, and then get the Burning Abyss's effect off after the Final Destiny's effect resolves. Also, a way you can pay the cost for the Final Destinies that I like using Thunder Dragon, because you can discard Thunder Dragon and add 2 Thunder Dragons from your deck to your hand. So now you have 2 cards that you can use towards the cost of Final Destiny. So you just need 3 other cards. So let's say you have 5 cards in your hand, and one of them is Final Destiny, of course, and one of them is Thunder Dragon. Discard Thunder Dragon, get 2 Thunder Dragons. Now you have 6 cards in your hand. Play Final Destiny, discard the remaining 5, and there you go. Simple as that. So it's a pretty good card. Of course, sometimes Thunder Dragon gets used for paying the cost of certain cards that require you to discard 2 cards from your hand, like Hand Destruction, for example. If card destruction was still usable, you can get 2 extra free cards just by discarding the Thunder Dragon, adding the 2 to the hand, then play card destruction. Plus, it thin out your deck. So that's another useful thing about Thunder Dragon, is that just by discarding 1 Thunder Dragon, you just took out 2 cards out your deck. So that deck thinning is awesome, right? On fleek, as it were. Interesting enough, I would prefer people to play Thunder Dragon instead of Upstart Goblin. You know what I mean? But hey, to each their own, right? Or at least if you're gonna play Upstart, play Thunder Dragon anyway. then that deck out even faster. An Unexpected Guy. It's a pretty good card. I like it. It's it doesn't seem like a pretty bad card. Of course, if it did any effect monster, it would be awesome. If it did any level 4 lower effect monster, but it only does normal monsters. But if it did any normal monster, it would be even better, because then you can summon Dark Magician, right, and then play Dark Magic attack. You know what I mean? So that'd be pretty cool. But it only does level 4 lower normal monsters. But there are level 4 lower tuner monsters, so this can be a good way of searching out from your deck onto the field, and especially some a tuner. So hopefully one day they'll give us a level 4 normal tuner. That'd be pretty good, especially that way this can be used, like in some of my future assault mode decks, right? I play this, bring out 4-star tuner, summon a 4-star monster, and sink into starters, right? So it's a pretty good card if you use normal monsters. So I see a potential use of this in the future. Space Gift. Draw 1 card for each different Neospatial monster you control. That has different names. So this is pretty good, especially with the fact that you have pendulum summoning. You can pendulum a whole bunch of Neospatians, like let's say you pendulum 5 of them onto the field with different names. Then play this, draw 5, right? Then play like Magical Stone Excavation, for example, discard 2 cards, add this back to your hand, play it again, draw 5. You know, it's a pretty good draw card if you can get enough Neospatians on the field. Because if you get 2, for example, you know, it becomes a pot of greed, so to speak. If you get 3, you know, you get 3 cards and so on and so forth. So the more Spatians you have, the more you can draw. So that makes it a really, really good card. And the potential you could do a Neospatian Exodia deck. That'd be interesting, right? We have Landois, Luminous Moss. Activate only if you control a face-up Notorious monster. The opponent's effect monsters cannot activate their effects this turn. This is good against, you know, Burning Abyss, Shadows, in case they have some of the Shadows on the field. Griddles, of course, Yang Zings, especially if you're attacking. This will make it where their effects don't activate, but if they have continuous effects, like effects where they can't die by battle or targeted or something like that, this won't negate that. This will just make it where they can't activate certain effects, like dies all battle type effects. But this is still a pretty decent card. It would be more awesome if it lasted until the end of your opponent's turn, or if this was a quick play so you can use it in your opponent's turn. But hey, beggars can't be choosers, right? It's a decent card, so it has potential in the future. Barkion's Mark. I personally like this card. If you control a face-up Notorious monster, your opponent cannot activate trap cards this turn. So it's pretty good to help me, you know, basically prevent my opponent from activating their face-down traps in response to my single plays, exceed plays, or pendulum plays, or whatever I want to do. You know, I could play Barkion's Bark just by having a Notorious monster. So I could have a tuner like Cosmo Beat. I like using Cosmo Beat as an example because of the fact that if my opponent goes first and my opponent normal summons or sets a monster, let's say they set a monster in defense, I can summon Notorious Cosmo Beat. They'll set their traps and they'll end their turn, right? Then it's your turn, you draw, and then you could just play Barkion's Bark because you do control a face-up Notorious monster. Barkion's Bark, negate all, you know, make it where they can't activate their traps. They could chain some traps, of course, you know, especially if they're continuous or whatnot, or they just can chain them. But the ones they can't chain, those are the ones they can't activate, right? And then you can just go off and, you know, tribute this for Monarch, like Mobius or something, or, you know, summon Jinzo or something, or just summon a monster in synchro summon, like Black. You know, maybe you can special summon a level 5 or summon a 4-star that has the ability to become a level 5 or something like that, and then make Black Rose, for example, and then just clear the field and they won't be able to spawn. So it's a pretty good card. It has potential use in the future, but for me right now, Release Restraint Wave, it's a lot more usable because of the griddles. You have Misfortune, pretty decent card. You can use this more as a finisher, or you can use it in a strategy to, you know, deal a good amount of damage to your opponent. If your opponent has something like a Malefic Cyber End, you know, anything with 4,000 and higher attack, you can use this card, select their monster, and then they take damage to equal to half that monster's original attack. So in the case of Malefic Cyber End, you can deal them 2,000 damage. Then you can, like, let's say you have a Magician Faith, flip, summon it, add this back to your hand, then play it again. That's another 2,000. You just dealt your opponent 4,000 damage on one turn. That's half your opponent's life points. That's not bad. You can play stuff like Magical Stone Excavation to add this back to your hand, play it again. The turn you use this card, your monsters cannot attack, but, you know, the whole point is to deal your opponent, you know, some non-battle related damage. You can use this potentially in kaijus because you'll guarantee they'll have a pretty strong monster. You can use this for like Lava Golem because you'll deal them 1,500 damage with this, and then when it's their turn they take an extra 1,000 for Lava Golem's ability, so that's 2,500 damage. you could potentially do to your opponent just using this card. And that's the end of this video.